Now it's show time. Hello, good afternoon. How are you, Mr. Roy Willoughby?
Oh,
Willoughby.
muito cansado, muito frio. Is it frio?
Mu-
Muito
Frio. Yes, very good
frio.
Portuguese, Roy. Yeah.
Very cold. But
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
but I know I quite like the cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer it to be cold than to be raining and I
Melting.
went for a cycle this morning and it is lovely weather to cycle because
Roy,
yeah,
no, please.
yeah. Cheers, and now have a cup of tea too.
What time? Because I went to work. I was cycling this morning, and I had to stop and just
Yeah, it was
walk.
yeah, no, I didn't go cycling until about 11:30. It was
Okay.
later. So the sun had shine and the ice had melted, but yeah, so there was ice on the roads when you were
Yes.
yeah.
I was really
That's
late this
yeah,
morning for
yeah.
my work because I never ever, I'm here, like, this is my third winter in Ireland, basically. It's just number 3. It's not that much. I don't have like a huge experience talking about cold and winter in Ireland, but I know that I never ever saw the road as this morning. I had to stop and walk because I was really afraid of, you know,
That's
I don't fell, or yeah, it was really dangerous.
yeah, but it was a good decision probably to walk.
Mhm.
So how far is your journey? How many
I have
kilometers?
to I'm cycling 4.6 kilometers to go, 4.6 to come
Oh,
back,
wow. So yeah,
and then at night I go again. So I'm cycling like almost 20 per
oh,
day.
you must be very fit. Yeah.
Woo! Yeah. When I come back for summertime in Brazil, I will be like the best.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
it's it's at the moment like the temperature in Sao Paulo is what? Is it
I
30
tell you
degrees?
now,
35?
in São Paulo,
Yeah.
it's 22. It's not
Oh,
that 24 actually.
that's
In
quite comfortable. Yeah.
Dayatuba,
Yeah.
where I can call home, like it's 27.
Right.
Really, really hot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's
but it's I always remember one of my clients from my previous time living in Dublin. She used to say, when the weather is really, really cold, it's good for you because no germs can survive
yeah,
in a
that's it.
cold
Yeah.
weather.
Yeah. Uh, it is very true. And
Yeah.
we see when the weather gets warmer in the winter, kids get colds and everything like that. And it's interesting at the moment too. Apparently, the kids going to school are not getting lots of colds at the moment because of COVID. Because they are not intermingling. They are not, they are not giving each other the normal colds. And
Yeah.
apparently, attendance at schools is very high at the moment because there aren't that many colds going round.
Mm.
But um, so we will. Uh, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. The
I
school.
was I was checking the news this morning, and people were like, the journal, there is a research from the Irish Time, I guess, and they were saying that the level of COVID is higher in students, health workers, and elderly, maybe. I
Uh,
don't remember. So
Maybe in the nursing homes. No, was it?
no,
Yeah,
let me
uh,
check.
students, health workers, and well, it's traditionally has been high in meat factories, but that I
True,
don't.
yeah.
Yeah,
So basically, the
mm,
workers
yeah,
have
um,
been, yeah, the first. Where's that? It was this morning.
yeah,
9 deaths and so not no. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't really understand, Roy, why the schools are opened and why people are just dying for shopping. It was ridiculous last
Crazy,
week.
yeah,
People queuing at 4 a.m.
yeah,
just to shop, like just to buy stuff. It's just unbelievable. This is how I feel. Anyway, but how
yeah.
are
No,
you?
I agree. No, good, good. We had a busy weekend. Well, it wasn't busy. Uh,
Mm,
um, my drama group. Uh, Normally we put on, and you have come to them yourself, Leeson Park Players. Normally we have a winter production, a live theatre
mm,
play, and
yeah.
it would be on at the well, probably it should have been on this weekend, last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but because
Mhm.
of COVID, obviously there is no drama happening, and so the what we did was we decided to do two plays online,
Mm,
and so they have we did those, but I mean, we recorded them um, about a week ago and edited them, and we put them up online at on one on Saturday and one on
yeah.
Sunday at 8 o'clock, and we had a sort of online gathering to watch them, and then had a Zoom meeting afterwards to chat and say hello and react to the plays. And both plays were original plays written by members of the group. And one of them was by a lady who has been on this platform with us,
Yeah.
Simone. You remember Simone?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
who is
She's.
a poet, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, she's amazing. She, I said, you remember, she came from
I
Romania,
do. Yeah.
and her English is perfect, and she has become a
Perfect.
writer. I mean, she is writing poetry, and she
Mm-hmm.
wrote a play, and it was produced online,
Mm.
and we looked at it on Saturday night, and then we had a gathering afterwards on Zoom. And I
Uh,
think you have the link if you want to share it with people. But it's both plays are up there on Sunday. We
yeah.
had a play written by, I think you've met him,
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, Charles Richards. He wrote a play called Treading Water. He
Mm-hmm.
wrote it. He wrote it during the. It was about the Celtic Tiger. You know, the Celtic Tiger, when the Irish economy was really booming,
Yes.
and in
Before
the
the.
in the yeah, before the
Yeah.
crash in the
Yeah.
late noughties, 2008, 2009, the crash.
Uh-huh.
But it was written before that, and it was an interesting look at some two middle class families, one which was struggling
Mm-hmm.
to survive, and another one that is making loads of money, and they are having a dinner party together,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, now you've put up the link to the actual website, but
Yeah.
those are pictures. That's me with the wig on. You see that?
Yes,
Hello,
you're
hello.
looking like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
German
yeah. That's what
guy.
it was. Do you know the comedy Hello, hello? That's what it
No.
was. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's about the French resistance and the German restaurant. Anyway, this is another Christmas. These are all old photographs. So that's
uh-huh.
the website. But
Yeah.
I don't know whether they have the link on the website, but there was a
Mm.
special link for the that's actually Charles himself there, but he's
Yes.
changed a lot. Charles Richards, the guy who wrote the play,
Can you
and
say, Roy?
treasure. I
I
wasn't in
met
that one.
Charles. I met Charles.
Yeah,
I went. I don't know why. Because I wish my idea was bringing Nelson Rodrigues to your
oh
group.
yes, yeah, to get us to do a play written by
Nelson
Nelson
Rodrigues.
Rodriguez. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And I met him. I went for a meet with him
yeah.
in his workplace. And I love that name, but I'm not able to pronounce. Can you say where he works,
Yeah,
please?
well, he sadly he doesn't work there anymore because there
Okay.
was a change of management, and there was yeah, so it was called the Mendicity. mendicity,
Mendicity. Yeah, it's a
and
very sad but beautiful word. The
yeah,
sound of
and it works like
mendicity is beautiful.
mendicity is the act of giving something, charity, mendicity, and it's a very old word, and it's one of the oldest charities in Dublin, and it looks after homeless
Mhm.
people with and they give meals, and they try to get them involved in working in various things and making things so that they can support themselves.
Are
Um,
they still
yeah,
are they still like there?
oh yeah, they work there. They were
Oh,
Charles in there, but they're still there. Uh,
okay.
yeah, yeah, they still are open down Usher's Island in
Mhm.
on beside the Liffey.
Yeah,
Um,
this is the one that I
yeah.
watched in
Oh yeah, Pygmalion.
2017.
Yeah, see
Yeah.
that's it's a pity. Can you pause that? No, you can't. There's I am there on the right hand side of
Yes,
the
you
screen.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Pygmalion is a really famous play. And it's very strong social message. It was written by Bernard Shaw, and
Uh-huh.
um, so he it was all about you see the lady in the middle. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
gone. Oh no, you
This.
can get it back again if
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, that girl is a lady. Henry Higgins is the big tall
Mhm.
guy there behind the sign Pygmalion, and he was a linguist
Uh-huh.
in London, and
Mm.
he had a bet with his friend, and his
Mhm.
friend was me, Pickering. That's the title there of me and on the right, and he had a
Oops.
bet that he could make what he called a lady out of her. She was selling
Yeah.
flowers in outside Covent Garden in London,
Uh-huh.
and she had a Cockney accent. You know the Cockney accent. Hello, how you doing, mate? All right, from London.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
and he heard her, and he had a bet with his friend that
Uh,
he could make her speak like what he called a lady. I mean,
ah,
people from a higher social class, and it's an interesting play, and it also was made into a movie. The movie was called My Fair Lady, and it was one of the famous movies when I was growing up. It was, I think, in the '60s. It was made, My Fair Lady, and there's some fantastic songs that live on. All I want is a room somewhere far away from the midnight air. Da 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 da. Wouldn't it be lovely? And that's the song that she sang when she was selling flowers, dreaming of what she wanted, and then
uh-huh.
she got the chance to go and sort of live with these two guys, and she changed her accent, and it's an interesting social commentary
Yes.
about trying to change the accent of somebody. So we did
There
that.
you are again.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another play that Charles wrote.
Mm.
And again, David Cairnduff is there too, and so uh, and the that was written as a centenary celebration of 1916, which was the
Mm.
year of our rising. But
Yes.
it was written by Charles, and there was a connection with the mendicity.
Yeah. Oh.
And in real history, the first soldier to be shot
Mm.
in the rising was shot from the building where the mendicity was
Really?
on the quays, and they were marching on the other side of the British soldiers were marching near what is called Collins Barracks,
Ah.
the museum now. But then they were marching from there towards O'Connell Street,
Mm.
and the first person shot was a soldier, and they were shot because the rebels took over the mendicity during the rising,
Uh-huh.
and Charles wrote a play around it, and it was it was good. Usher's Island, 1916, and there was connections with Joyce and other things like that, because it was a time when Joyce. Well, yeah, yeah, and and that's the comedy one about hello, hello.
When we arrived in Dublin in 2016, so the country was celebrating 100 years.
All right, yeah. Now you see, 100 years ago was a very significant time in the Irish history because we had the Rising, and then at the moment we are commemorating is probably the best way, the War of Independence, which was 2021, and then after we got there was the treaty after the War of Independence. Then there was a civil war because some people didn't agree that we should settle that Northern Ireland remains in part of the United Kingdom, and then there was a civil war to try and see, the side that won the civil war were the side that said, "No, let's have the 26 counties as a republic and leave that." And so there's still, in politics in Ireland, there is still a lot of people who carry on this argument. And, maybe someday we may have a united Ireland, but at the moment it's very controversial. Yes. So that period of Irish history was very interesting because you may have heard too. In 1912, we had a thing called the Lockout, where there was a big strike against started by the tram drivers. The trams, there was electric trams all over the place, and there is a famous book called The Lockout, and then there is a great drama which is available. Where is it available? I'm not sure. RT, where I used to work, made this drama called Strumpet City.
Yeah,
it's a book about that period in 1912. So we had the centenary of the Lockout. We've had the centenary of the Rising, and now we have the Civil War, the War of Independence, and the Civil War. So there is a lot of commemorating going on, and there is a lot of discussion about what are the attitude towards what the legacy that Britain has left in Ireland.
And last week,
far from positive,
last week there was a discussion about a tweet from a TD talking about some drama and some part.
What is his name?
Brian, whatever.
I've forgotten his name.
He's from Sinn Féin, and so this is something very alive in Ireland still, something that's it's part of history, and people always. But can I change the subject just a little, just to give some? I would like to show to who is watching. I know that we have people coming and going, so if you are passing by, please give us a share and give us a like this video and share to your friends. And last week, I know you are aware, Brazilian community, we have loads of classificados groups, and we have loads of questions coming and going, and classificados is where Brazilians meet on Facebook. And last week somebody was asking about the TV license, and Roy actually he taught me this. If you have can you see this, Roy?
Yes, I can. Yeah, RTE
News, exactly. So I just want to show people you can have this for free.
Yeah,
and you can have this from your Apple Store, or you can have this here on your Google Play Store. So this is very good for you. And here you can find everything you need to know about news, and they also have other stuff here, don't they, right?
Yeah. No, they have sport as well. I mean, sport, entertainment. That's a very interesting series, Other Voices.
Mm,
And now his name has just gone out of my head. The guy who organized it, Philip King. Philip King?
mm,
Key? Oh, no, no, come on. I will get the name now because that's bad. Philip King, I
that's
think.
okay.
Um, okay, but it's in a church in Dingle, which is.
Mm,
Have you ever heard of uh, Philip King Dingle? Yes, it is Philip King. South Wind Blows. Yeah, yeah.
mm,
Sorry, I had a senior moment there. He Philip is very, 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 very much into music, and particularly every type. But they normally have a festival in Dingle,
mm.
Other Voices Festival, and they have live shows which are recorded for TV, and
Yeah.
it's in an old church and the acoustics are fantastic. But they had an online festival this time, and you were holding up something now.
I'm just showing them that they just
Oh, what?
can use here the
Yeah.
bar, and then just search
Oh, I
for
see.
whatever
Yeah,
you like.
yeah, yeah,
And this is so good.
yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
for
yeah,
free, guys. You don't have to pay the license because in this country, if you want to have a TV, you have to pay the license. And just in case you are in an irregular situation, you might have trouble because somebody can denounce you, somebody can call the guarda, and you will be in very bad shit, as we say in Portuguese. I don't know if
mm,
you can say this in English, but anyway, so be
yeah.
careful and
See,
use everything you have for free because here we have unlimited data. If you have a cell phone, you can stay
yeah,
connected. Just you can
true.
just
And I think you probably remember that in my class
mm,
when I was a teacher, I would recommend this app for
yeah.
people. But there's also there's a RTE player which
Uh-huh.
is has the a lot of programs and
Yeah,
news on it as
yeah.
well. RT Player, and then the other. I'm trying to show you a picture of it, but where's it gone?
Oh yes, it's here. RT player. It's here.
Yeah,
It's a small one here,
yeah,
the
that's
black
it. Yeah,
one.
that's
Yeah.
for TV programs and also live RTE
Uh-huh.
programs. But
And
for people,
you can also check if you go to this here, you
now
will
your screen has
find.
gone blank.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
But you will find the last week, last Friday, they had on research a special whatever talking about accommodation, and it was like yes, right, that's right. It was like for me, I it's funny because in 2 years nothing changed. It is still the same. So they did this 2 years ago when I first came to
yeah,
Ireland. So when I was living here, I remember everybody was like, "Oh my God, this is not fair. Poor students, poor people, blah blah blah." And they did the same 2 years and it's still the same situation, no changing at all. So if you go
yeah.
to RT Player, you can find this.
The
And
story from 2 years.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's the same, right?
yeah, yeah. They should.
And this normal people, it's a bestseller. Normal people, yeah,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, yeah. So
Yes,
yeah,
people love it. And you can practice your Irish accent. You can practice your listening. It's very good. It's very, very good. And it's for free, guys. You just have to download and enjoy. So don't listen to crazy people saying, you can do this and that. Just don't, because here, this country is different. Right? In Portuguese, in Brazil, you say jeitinho, jeitinho brasileiro. It's a word where you can always. This is not good about Brazilian community. We think we can always manage. That it's always a way to rearrange, and not in Ireland, guys. Please be careful. Be really, really careful. Don't do this here because you can like the consequence can be very, very bad for you. Yeah, so something else that we are having just a short one today, right? Because it's the
Yes,
first
yeah,
day.
because it's we said we do it from 3:30 to 4, and it's just about 4 o'clock now.
Yeah,
But but if you want for another 5 minutes, we can chat.
yeah.
Um, but you were going to
Talking
say,
about the weather, right? Let's
the
talk
weather.
about the
Yeah,
weather.
yeah. But as you know, like for the last 2 or 3 nights, it has been
Uh,
freezing.
mm-hmm.
And we say literally freezing because, as you know,
True. Yeah.
sometimes people will say, "Oh, it's freezing," but it's cold, but it's not actually below zero. But this was literally it was freezing because you couldn't ride your bike. There was ice
Yeah.
on the road and there was ice on cars. People had to melt the ice on the windscreen of the cars in the mornings. So it was cold, and it's supposed to be cold for the next few days. But as
Mm-hmm.
I say, by 10 o'clock the roads are okay, and the temperature had risen to about 4 or 5 degrees. And what temperature? It's 3 degrees now, and
Perfect.
it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But by 7 or 8, it will be zero again, I think, tonight.
Yeah.
But I was saying to you before we went live that I'm confused that we get cold weather like this, and yet overall there is global warming. The temperature of the Earth is rising all the time. That's
Yeah.
why the ice is melting in the Arctic and the Antarctic,
Mm-hmm.
and but yet we are getting. But I think what's happening is that we are getting more extremes of weather,
Yeah.
getting very hot and very cold, and
Mm-hmm.
bigger and bigger storms as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. In Brazil, you don't get a lot of wind, do you? Or storms, wind.
Not really.
Yeah,
No. No.
because you have felt the wind here. We get a lot of wind coming in
Mm-hmm.
from the Atlantic in Ireland, but
Mm-hmm.
we each winter we are getting stronger and stronger winds, and
Mm-hmm.
also more and more rain. And the rain is quite a few times it comes like a deluge. Do you have this word in Brazil?
Yes.
Deluge.
The
Yeah,
same. Yeah.
it's the same
Uh-huh.
in French. It's
Uh-huh.
where it is really heavy rain,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's what gives the flooding, the flash floods. Uh, yeah, and
Uh-huh.
we're getting more of this each year. So, and this is because of the pattern and the changing patterns of
Yeah.
the and it will be interesting to see how many storms we get this winter.
Mm-hmm.
But it does seem to be increasing.
Oh,
Um,
please God, don't, because I have to cycle every day.
yeah, well, yeah,
Yeah.
but like it's interesting. I mean, when I was teaching, I used to cycle every day to the school, and
Mm-hmm.
like I, though there would be about 4 or 5 days every month that you would have to put on the wet weather gear, but otherwise it was okay.
Uh-huh.
But then I remember sometimes even the
Yeah.
waterproof gear didn't
Mm-hmm.
work because it was so heavy.
Yeah.
But by and large, Ireland is not too bad a place to cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except in the storms, it's not good because wind and wet are horrible to cycle in,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really horrible when it's windy and wet and warm, because then you get really hot and sweaty when you cycle, and but you have to wear all the gear as well.
Mm-hmm.
So today for me it was lovely to cycle it was sharp and cold, but it was nice on a bike.
Yes, that's true. I felt the same. Like, uh, I had to walk just for. I was afraid. I really was, and then, but then when I cycle back home, it was beautiful and blue. Now it's okay. I hope tomorrow. I know that tomorrow it's gonna be the same, icy and really wet.
Yeah,
So
I think
I might
until
change my.
maybe till Wednesday, I think it'll stay cold, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then it will
But this
improve.
is an extreme consequence of climate change, and yeah, and I know for experience. Like Brazil, it's getting warmer, and places are really, really bad. And I remember a time in São Paulo. São Paulo was when I was a child, long, long, long time ago. São Paulo used to. The name was the land of when. What's how do we call when the rain? It's not strong. It's not slashing. It's just like very light rain. It's always there.
Yeah.
Is there any specific word for this?
We have various types of rain, but like the very light, like mist is like a fog, which is wet, like it's mist. And in the mornings like this, you would get misty mornings where it looks like a fog, but it's not pollution. It's natural mist.
Yeah.
But then if it is raining just a little bit, we say drizzling.
Yeah.
And is that what the word is? Do you think drizzling?
Yes, maybe. Yes,
maybe very light rain.
Yeah.
Drizzle,
São Paulo was the land of
drizzling.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not anymore. It's not that cold. And I remember, I used to spend money buying heavy coats because I was expecting like for the winter, and it was possible at least once per year having a heavy coat, and it was lovely because we like cold wet clothes. But now we don't do this anymore. It's impossible. It's always hot there, always hot. It's not cold as used to be.
That's because you are cutting down all the forests in the Amazon.
Exactly. Did you see this right? Actually,
it was on the RT News the other night.
Yeah.
Report, and I'm sure it's still there. About the global warming, and Brazil featured because it was cutting down all the trees, and for mining for as well as wood, and exploiting the forest. And it has all sorts of horrible consequences, as you know, for the indigenous population that live there, and also for the climate, because we need trees to help the planet breathe, as you know.
Yeah, exactly. Shame on it's awful having that government there, right? I feel so ashamed. Like it's just unbelievable what they are doing to my country.
When is the next election?
2022, just in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But he can do worse until there. And that's bad, very sad.
But hopefully in 2022 he will go and join.
It's going to be the same as Trump. Nobody, please God, nobody will remember Trump in 1 year time. He will be arrested. He will just like something really, really serious and good.
Did you hear what happened to his lawyer, Giuliani?
Was he the former mayor of New York?
Mayor of New York, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And now he is Trump's main lawyer.
Yeah.
And you see, Giuliani was the mayor of New York when 9/11 happened. What year was that? 2000, wasn't it? 2000.
Wow, 2001.
2001. Yeah. When the plane, and he reacted very strongly to that, and he got a lot of praise for the way he did. So, but now that's what 20 years ago, and he's a different man, I think.
Totally.
And yesterday it was confirmed that he has the virus. He has COVID.
Yeah.
And he on Thursday, like that was it was confirmed on Sunday, but on Thursday there is video of him going around embracing people, kissing people, having selfies taken, no mask, and I just don't understand how you can think like this. And now he's got, I feel sorry for him, but how many other people has he infected because he took the attitude that he did? And that's why, I am very apprehensive about Ireland and us opening the shops and getting, don't get me going, but people are saying, let's save Christmas, and I feel sorry for business people, but saving Christmas is not about, if you think about it,
Life,
it's not
exactly.
about money. Christmas is Christmas, and it's
Yeah,
celebrating. If you believe, it's celebrating Jesus Christ, and like that. That it's not about. I mean, I know it has become a financial boom and for everything. But it annoys me when I mean, it means say, duh. Yeah.
yeah,
So, after Christmas, are we going to see an increase in even before Christmas because we have opened up restaurants and shops
and
and
yeah,
what's going to happen? And and you work as a carer, and it puts people who they are vulnerable people that you look after,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
and they are going to be people there, and in nursing homes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Nursing homes have been very
Nonsense.
bad,
Yeah.
and they were far. And I make a comparison between nursing homes, which are mostly privately run
Mm,
in this country, and
mm,
English language schools, which are mostly privately run.
yeah.
And the language schools have their problems even before COVID,
Mm-hmm.
um, and nursing homes have their problems now during COVID because they are businesses, and they
Yeah.
are being run for profit, as are English language schools were mostly all run for profit.
Mm-hmm.
And the regulation of both sectors has been very poor. And
Yeah.
and I it makes me, I know, um yeah, well, the situation is very different in the both sectors, but they have a lot of similarities in that
Absolutely. Yeah.
the owners look at money, 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 and
Mm-hmm.
take, looking after COVID is expensive, for them, and it wasn't until this situation got disastrous that the government decided to, we have this phrase, bail out, which means help out financially and with
Uh-huh.
staff all the private companies, all the
Mm-hmm.
private nursing homes, and they
Mm-hmm.
are now helping. But I mean, maybe if the government ran more nursing homes themselves,
Yeah.
this wouldn't have happened, and there would be more care taken. And maybe if the government ran more language schools, there wouldn't be the problems with poor pay
Exactly.
and awful,
Yeah.
awful, awful conditions and exploitation of students and staff and teachers. And so it's a big problem.
A
But
big, huge problem, and plus just to like conclude here this conversation. Last week, because you mentioned Christmas, last week the bishop was talking on the radio, and he said Christmas is more than commercial.
yeah, that's true.
So Christmas is more than business. So Christ can be there, can stay here, and you can just
Yeah,
congregate with your family.
Christmas
And
Christmas will happen
yeah,
regardless of how much restrictions there is, but it's
exactly.
it's saving the money making. That's the problem. And
That's the
you
problem. Yeah,
know,
exactly.
you have to feel
So the
sympathetic.
Celtic Tiger, it's still there.
Say again.
Unfortunately,
Sorry, say what?
the Celtic Tiger is still
Yeah.
there in a
Yeah,
bad
well,
way.
we
Yeah.
you see, it's very ironic that the
Yeah.
Irish economy was recovering, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to ask, recovering for who?
Yeah.
The government say that there's very low unemployment, but
Mm-hmm.
what types of jobs are people in? And
Yeah.
and what the there are so many people working at the minimum wage, and that's not
Mm-hmm.
much fun uh,
No.
for
Yeah.
anybody. So it's a big problem. But we won't solve it here. Maybe we will solve it next week, but not this week.
That's
Anyway,
good because I have to
so
work. Somebody's
yeah,
waiting for me. I have to
yeah,
prepare the dinner.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I am I'm free to give classes if somebody wants to. I know I haven't worked since our school closed, and
Uh-huh.
ah, yeah. Next week we will talk more about it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So
Maybe
if you
I'll
want
see you.
to just send us a message. Roy is free, and I me, yeah, and Gaudier is also there. So
Yeah,
just use our time to learn something new, because we can learn anything. Yes,
yeah.
or we
But
can learn everything we want. Thank you, Rai. Have a good day.
next week I hope to graduate online from Trinity with the masters.
Wow, well done. Very good.
I got
Great
an email
news.
2 weeks ago that I've got my master's in English language teaching. But now I've
Wow.
forgotten everything I ever learned now because I'm not teaching.
Let's talk. Teachers talk. See you next week. Thank you,
Okay.
guys. See you.
Hasta luego.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Oops. Yeah. See you.